The train hissed like a living thing as it slowed, steam curling around the depot posts. Boots shuffled, voices rose, but he heard none of it. The cowboy stood frozen, hat clenched in his fist, eyes locked on the woman stepping down from the carriage. Dust clung to her hem, sunlight caught in her hair, and memory struck like a bullet. 15 years vanished. He was 16 again, standing by a riverbank at dusk, her fingers trembling as they clutched his shirt, her breath warm when she leaned in. His first kiss. His only soft moment before life hardened him. Now she stood there with a single worn suitcase, eyes searching the crowd, unaware that fate had led her straight back into his chest. He had ordered a bride to survive the winter, to quiet the loneliness of his ranch. He had never ordered his past. When her gaze met his, her steps faltered. Color drained from her face. She knew him too. The world seemed to tilt as recognition passed between them, unspoken, undeniable. Around them, the town moved on, but on that platform, time snapped tight like a drawn wire. She had practiced this moment 100 times on the train, meeting a stranger, offering a polite smile, pretending bravery she barely felt. She had not prepared for him. The man from her girlhood, taller now, broader, eyes darker with things she could not name. Her heart thundered as memories rose uninvited. Laughter stolen behind her father's barn, that kiss tasting of summer and fear, the promise he never made because life tore them apart first. She told herself he wouldn't recognize her. Men forgot, but the way he stared, like he'd been struck silent, told her the truth. She felt suddenly exposed, the mail-order arrangement burning like a brand. She had come west to survive, to escape shame and scarcity. She hadn't come to reopen wounds. When he finally stepped forward, his voice rough as gravel, saying her name like it still belonged to him, her knees nearly gave way. She answered with his, just once, and the space between them filled with everything they never said. The townsfolk watched, sensing something wrong, something charged. She lifted her chin, reminding herself she was here for a purpose. But her heart had already betrayed her. He took her bag without asking, his fingers brushing hers, sending a jolt through both of them. The ride to the ranch was silent, broken only by the creak of leather and the wind cutting across the plains. He wanted to ask 1,000 questions, why she came, what she remembered, whether that kiss had meant anything to her, but fear locked his jaw. He had built a hard life since losing her, walls of work and solitude stacked high. Seeing her again cracked them wide open. At the ranch house, he showed her the room meant for his future wife, painfully aware that nothing about this was simple. When she finally spoke, it wasn't anger in her voice, but steadiness. She said they could pretend, if he wished. Live as agreed, share a roof, survive the season. The idea cut him deeper than any rejection. That kiss had shaped him, it had been the proof he was capable of tenderness. He told her he couldn't pretend. Not with her, not with the girl who taught him what wanting felt like. Outside, the sun dipped low, painting the land gold, as if daring them to choose courage over fear. That night, the fire burned low, shadows dancing between them as truth finally spilled out. She spoke of hunger, of choices made with no good options, of boarding that train with nothing but resolve. He confessed how he'd searched for her once, then convinced himself she was better off without him. The silence after felt sacred. When she stood, he thought she was leaving the room, but instead she crossed the space between them, slow, deliberate. She asked him if that kiss still mattered. He answered by lifting her face, giving her the chance to turn away. She didn't. Their lips met again, older now, surer, carrying the weight of loss and survival. It wasn't innocence this time, it was recognition. When they parted, both were shaking. She rested her forehead against his chest, and he wrapped his arms around her like he was done running. The mail-order agreement lay forgotten. This wasn't a transaction, it was a return. Outside, the wind howled, but inside, two lives long separated finally chose the same direction, knowing love reclaimed is stronger than love first found.